Let's discuss why we're talking about that, because it's going to get a bit windy later on. We're talking about, one of the sort of storms coming in, but will it be anything like a solar storm? This predicted bad weather, when you consider the likelihood of that happening. Yeah, there we go. According to one Bristol University expert, we are 5 years overdue a solar storm, an event with the potential to wreak havoc with our communication systems and our power supplies. Ashley Dale from the university paints a pretty bleak picture of life on Earth if one of these storms were to hit us. He joins me in the studio now. Hello, Ashley.
Hi.
Serious stuff. What is it? Solar storm?
Yeah, in recent years we've come to realise that the mood of our nearest star is far more hostile than we originally thought. Mm-hmm. In particular, the Kepler spacecraft, a spacecraft that's looking at hundreds of thousands of stars in our galaxy, looking for other planets, has also accumulated hundreds of thousands of years' worth of data on stars just like ours. Mm. And we've found that major solar events occur much more often than we thought and are much larger on average than we thought. Mm. So the numbers say that a major solar superstorm, something significant enough to do significant damage to our space infrastructure and our electronics infrastructure down here, is relatively likely, on the order of 50-50 chance within your lifetime.
Really? I mean, when we're talking about a solar storm, I mean, the sun is a ball of fire, isn't it? So
yeah,
how does a storm manifest itself then on the sun?
It's essentially a nuclear ball of fire up in the sky that has weather in itself, and every now and then there's an eruption on the surface. Yeah. And there's about a 1 in 10 chance we'll be impacted by that eruption. Because
that hits the magnetic field of the Earth, does it?
That's right. Yeah. The sun and the Earth are linked by their magnetic fields.
Yes.
And a solar storm will send out on the order of 100 trillion tons worth of plasma, highly energized particles, out in these solar events.
Yes. Now, I was worried about the frequency of this, because it's happened before, and is there something like 150 years between these kind of events, or is there any kind of pattern going on?
This is the scary thing, and that is that we don't really know that much about the nature of the sun, in that we can't really predict these things far in advance, on the order of maybe a few hours,
right?
Which is just not enough time.
No. You need Tom Cruise in a situation like that, don't you?
Maybe, yeah.
But seriously, if that's the case, then what is there to worry about? It might or it might not happen. Where do you get the 50% chance? Those are odds that would worry anybody.
Coupling historical data that we have of our sun through observation to numerical models to the data we've accumulated with the Kepler spacecraft, we've come to conclude that on average every 150 years, and we're about 5 years overdue now, a major solar event hits the Earth. And we've only recently become vulnerable to it because we only have recently developed our electronics and space infrastructures.
So what would happen? What do you think? I mean, give us a sort of a picture of what might happen on Earth.
Essentially, of the 1,000 operational satellites in space right now, a good chunk of them would be destroyed beyond use. And it would take on the order of a decade to recover that infrastructure. Yeah. The power grid would fail. There are these things called transformers that link everything up to each other. They would melt. And funnily enough, North America and Europe are far more vulnerable than India and China are to this, because of their the nature of the soil, their higher latitude. In a solar event, you'd see the northern lights at the equator. Yeah. Okay.
You're talking about this with a little bit of glee, I think, actually. I think, like all scientists, you're kind of half hoping this is going to happen, because it's going to be quite traumatic, isn't it, in a weird sort of way?
Well, this is the thing, in that we are capable of protecting ourselves from such an event. The real problem does not lie within the sun itself, but within the ignorance of the public and the decision makers, the politicians. So really, we need to raise awareness of this situation to solve the problem. It's well within our capability to protect ourselves.
All right, okay, but we're 5 years overdue. But don't panic. Is that the message?
Hopefully, yeah.
Oh, well, not really reassuring on that. Okay, thank you.
It's scary. The numbers don't lie. It's very difficult not to sort of sound like a scaremonger.
Yes, but 50-50. Ashley, thanks very much indeed. Always interesting to talk to you. Thanks for coming.